Hi everyone, today we're going to be digging 3 acers out of this shady border behind me and putting them into pots so that I can have them as part of a display with my tulips during the spring, and then we will transplant them into borders later on once we've created those borders. If you're new to my channel, my name's Annette and this is Cottoverdi. Welcome. We garden here in South Buckinghamshire in the UK, which is equivalent to a zone 8B or 9A. We get down to about -5. That will be our maximum cold each year. Sometimes, very occasionally, it's -7 degrees centigrade I'm talking about. Anyway, we garden here in what I like to describe as an English cottage garden. It's a very old walled garden. The wall is listed. It's incredibly tall. I don't think I've measured it actually. I don't know how tall it is. Not this one, but the other ones. This one's not as tall. But the other ones around our garden are very old, very thick, very tall. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It kind of creates a microclimate here for us. Anyway, this is a raised bed that we have in this very tiny area that will one day be a patio, but is currently just weeds. We need to sweep up the leaves. And many, many years ago, maybe about, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that, 10 to 15 years ago, we planted this border up with what I thought would be right for this area. But actually, we've got 3 viburnum tennis here that do create some shade. And in fact, this wall is tall enough that it's shaded out these acers and they don't like it. So they would be so much better off not in this incredibly shady area. It really doesn't get much sun. If we had something taller, it would definitely get morning sun, but otherwise it's not going to get any sun at all. So we need to rethink this border. Particularly this area here. You can't even see the acers. One of them last year, the red one, these were gifts to me actually, and I didn't make a note of what the names are, so I don't have any of the names for these acers, but there is a red twig one and half of that died last year. We had to cut it back. I really do think they're going to be so much happier out of this border. So we're going to dig them up today. I don't know how big the root balls are going to be. They've been in there a while, but as I said, they're not particularly healthy. So we're going to dig them up and pot them up, and then we'll go from there. Let's see what else we can get done today. I'm not sure how much time we're going to have, but we're going to try. So this one here is the red twigged one. You can kind of see that it's got red stems on it. I mean, you can't really see, but it does have red stems. And then this one here has never done particularly well. It's kind of straggly and spindly. And this one is a gorgeous sort of, it was trained into an umbrella. This was a beautiful gift to me, and I just don't think it's happy here. It's planted right next to a snowberry, and I mean, it just doesn't get any sun there at all. And so it hasn't really grown that much, and I would really like it somewhere else. I think they'd be much prettier and much happier somewhere else. And we did plant an evergreen in this corner, and you can see this one is not happy either. So nothing does particularly well in this super shady area, and I may have to rethink it completely. We have got some snowdrops that we popped in there, so they look kind of cute. They're just coming out, they're not quite out yet. And then the rest of this border needs a good tidy. So we need to clear up all the leaves at the bottom. We need to cut back all the Japanese anemones over here and just generally give it a good tidy. Let's start with digging out these acers. not fit in the pot I wanted it in, but maybe we could take some soil off. We have used ordinary multi-purpose peat-free compost in the pots, and I've sprinkled in some slow-release fertiliser, which I always do in my pots because I think that really helps. We'll probably feed them through the spring and summer anyway, but just to give them, you know, a little base there. Okay, so we've potted them up. They just about fit in those pots. I wasn't sure they were going to, but we managed, and it's not too tight a squeeze. They just haven't gone in the pots that I was going to put them in. They've gone in, I swapped them around, but they're fine. Some of the twigs were quite crispy, but I've decided not to prune them until they leaf out, and then I'll figure out which bits are dead, and then we'll just take those bits off. But I'm not going to do any other pruning at all at the moment. And I did put a little bit of moss around the bottom. I think, you know, moss and Japanese acers go really well together, and I like to cover my pots with moss anyway. I think it looks really pretty, and they're going to look gorgeous with the tulips. We'll move them around onto the patio once we've given it a good jet wash, because it's really in need of a jet wash. But we're going to go and tidy up the rest of that bed now where all the Japanese anemones are, because they need a really good cut back. And let's go and have a look at it. There might be a bit of weeding to do as well. So these are all the Japanese anemones, and we need to cut them all back and just take out all the debris. I tend to leave it over the winter. I think it's good for the wildlife and stuff like that. So we're just going to go around this area, stripping it all back. Gosh, it looks so different here now. We've cleared back everything in this border that really needed it, and a bit here. I still need to prune the snowberry bush, but I need my loppers for that, and we don't have time today, so I'll do that another day. It shouldn't take too long. I just prune it like right back. I'll show you when I do that. And we've also cleared up all the leaves. We've got a massive pile here that's going to go in on leaf mulch. It's probably not the best leaf mulch because it comes from these viburnums and they're evergreen, so the leaves are thicker and they'll take a lot longer to decompose. But we just have our leaf mulch going constantly, and the stuff at the bottom eventually becomes really, really nice loamy stuff, loamy compost that we use for mulching and other things. So we'll just tip that onto the top and it will decompose in time. It'll just take a little bit longer, but that's fine. It can take as long as it likes. So I'll just show you, because we also found some gorgeous hellebores, and I just think it looks so much nicer now because we'll be able to see all the spring bulbs, and they really are just about to burst into bloom. There are loads of daffodils coming up and the snowdrops are just about to open up. We've got some snowdrops in the just outside our driveway in the lane outside our property. I've planted up a couple of bays there, and the snowdrops there have been out for a few weeks actually. So I'm guessing that these, because they really are in such a dark spot and they were covered with so much leaf mulch and things like that, that they're just they haven't opened up yet, but they will. Richard's just clearing up the pile of leaves there. That'll just take him 2 seconds, but I'll show you all the bulbs that we've got coming up. So these are the Japanese anemones we cut back, but these are loads and loads of daffodils. You can see we've got loads. We've got a couple of hellebores. There's one at the back there, and then there are some more hellebores down here that are just coming through. I did take most of the foliage off the Japanese anemones. You can see I've left a little bit, but I mostly just cut it back quite ruthlessly, to be honest with you. And we don't find it too invasive here at the moment. I know a lot of people do find it invasive. What we are finding though is these are Prunus and Managawa, and they are shooting off loads of, they're turning into multi-stems basically. So we've got loads of other bits branching off here, and I think we're probably going to have to get a saw to those, or maybe we can dig them out and plant them somewhere else, because they are absolutely beautiful. They're incredibly tall, quite narrow growing, and they just have beautiful pink blooms in the springtime and then lovely autumn colour. But you can see in this one here just how many other stems are coming off it, and I do think we need to do something about that. So everything's cut back all the way along, and then this is the white snowberry bush that I need to chop back, but I couldn't do it with my secateurs. I need to get loppers to that. So I just think that looks so much tidier. I can't wait till we have a patio here. And these trees are absolutely gorgeous. The birds love them, we love them, the cats love them. These are viburnum tennis. Well, I really hope you've had fun with us as we tackled these few jobs here. It didn't take us too long in the end, actually. I think it was quite a lot of work for Richard to get a couple of those acers out. They were quite well rooted. One of them was not, but then, you know, I knew that they were sick and unhappy there anyway. Don't be afraid to take plants out if they're not doing well and move them to a better location. And I always do that. If I'm not enjoying it, I either put it in the bin or I just move it somewhere where I think it's going to do better. I still need to figure out what I'm going to plant here. I really would like something evergreen. We've got loads of hostas and loads of bleeding hearts and things like that that do come up in the spring, but I just want something more substantial there for the whole year, really. We can see these borders from one of our rooms, and it would just be really nice if it looked better for a longer period of time. So I need to find some evergreens that really don't mind shade. So I'm going to have a look at those, and I'll let you know what I'm going to plant. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.